Hi, I'm Chris from needlepointers.com. Today I'll show you how to machine embroider on a sweatshirt. This video shows how to embroider simple sections of a sweatshirt. I plan to do a future video on how to embroider on harder sections like pockets and sleeves. If you'd like to find links to purchase the supplies and step-by-step photo tutorial, please click the link in the description to visit our website. Let's get started. What you'll need is a sweatshirt to embroider on. I like to purchase sweatshirt blanks from Michaels. They carry both Gideon and Make Market brands, and they are very nice quality sweatshirts. Machine embroidery designs to stitch onto your sweatshirt. Urban Threads has many cute designs, including some design packs for embroidering on clothes. For this demo, I'm using two simple kitty patterns. You'll need no-show mesh and wash-away stabilizer, and a sticky back stabilizer is optional. Embroidery target stickers, which are optional. Spray-based, machine embroidery thread, an embroidery machine, and Embroidery Toolshed software, free version, is also optional, but it's nice to use to print templates. Before stitching on your sweatshirt, wash and dry as you normally would. This will pre-shrink the sweatshirt. We don't want it to shrink after stitching. The other thing I suggest is before you start to stitch your design on your good sweatshirt, find an old sweatshirt you don't want anymore, or go to a thrift shop and buy a really cheap sweatshirt that's a similar weight and test stitching your design on that sweatshirt. You can use that test sweatshirt many times in different areas of the sweatshirt. That way you can see if it starts puckering. You can then test it with either different stabilizer by putting the sticky back on, or you can float another layer underneath to make sure that you get enough stabilizer under there. When embroidering on a sweatshirt, you may want to audition the designs on the garment before stitching. An easy way to do this is to print out templates using the free Embroidery Toolshed software from Dime. I'll include a link to this software on the project page. Embroidery Toolshed lets you open the design file and print a template like these. The template has lines to help you align the design. Cut out your design around the printed template. You can place the template onto your sweatshirt to see how it will look once it's embroidered. Pin your templates in place, then try on your sweatshirt to see how it will look when it's worn. Once you have it in place where you want it, you can fold the template back and then place a target sticker here, or you can just leave the template in place until you get it in your hoop. Since sweatshirts are thick, it's easier to float them over the hoop when embroidering. Depending on the stitching placement, it may be impossible to hoop the sweatshirt. I prefer to float my sweatshirt and use a border box to hold it in place while stitching. If you do decide to hoop the sweatshirt, I recommend applying sticky back stabilizer to the entire area to be hooped. This will keep the sweatshirt from stretching while you are hooping it. Then you can use another layer of cutaway or no-show mesh stabilizer along with the sticky back stabilizer when hooping. If you're stitching a very dense design like this one, I would use a sticky back stabilizer on the back plus 2 layers of the no-show mesh, or you could use 2 layers of the no-show mesh in the hoop and then float underneath another layer of cutaway stabilizer. And when I say float underneath, that just means just before you start stitching, slide another piece of stabilizer underneath the hoop. And it's not hooped or anything, it's just floating underneath. And then as you start stitching, it'll get caught in the stitches and then it will be stitched underneath the as an additional layer. I like to use a no-show mesh stabilizer for embroidering on my sweatshirts. This is a softer fabric-like stabilizer. You could also use your favorite cutaway stabilizer. I use 2 layers of stabilizer in the hoop. This is to make sure it doesn't pucker. Use a layer of wash-away stabilizer on the top. I use this clear wash-away stabilizer. This helps to keep your stitches on the top so they don't sink into the fabric. Load the design into your embroidery machine and then add a border basting box around the design. If you don't have a way to put a basting box around your design, use spray adhesive to attach the floated sweatshirt to the hoop stabilizer. Place the sweatshirt across the top of the hoop. Make sure you move the arms and the rest of the sweatshirt completely out of the way. Align your shirt with the stitching area, and you can use the lines on the template or the target sticker to get the design centered the way you want it. If your machine has a projection feature like mine does, you can use that to move the design around or the sweatshirt until it matches up with the projection. Once I have it aligned up where I wanted it, I was able to take my pins and pin through all of the layers here just to hold it in place, because my machine keeps moving when I go to start stitching. The first step that it's going to stitch is the basting box, and I'm going to stitch that before I take away this, because I want to make sure that it's in place properly. Make sure it doesn't catch on the paper, and make sure that your sweatshirt is flat underneath. So now I'll remove the pins and my little template, and I can see my stitch area is nice and flat here. The next step will be to put some wash away stabilizer across the top. And then I'm going to stitch that basting box once again so that it will hold this in place. So next I'm going to continue with stitching my design, changing the colors as needed and until I get to the end. As it's stitching, make sure none of the sweatshirt gets underneath into the stitching area. As you can see, the design has been fully stitched and I can remove it from the machine. Right, so now I can unhoop it. I removed the basting stitch and I removed a lot of the wash away. The rest of this will wash away the first time I wash the sweatshirt. On the back, I trimmed the no-show mesh close to the stitching most of the way around. Be very, very careful when you're trimming around and that you don't cut into your sweatshirt material, because that would be horrible if you cut into it now. And you may be thinking, why is it called no-show mesh? Because you can see it. The reason it's called no-show is because it's made to be used if you're embroidering on a light colored fabric, it won't show through. But I like to use it for this purpose because it's a nice soft stabilizer and it works well with sweatshirts. I have a second cat to embroider on the back of this sweatshirt, so I'll be back after I've done that, and then I'll show you the finished sweatshirt. And here's my finished front, and I stitched also this cute design onto the back. I hope you enjoyed learning how to stitch on a sweatshirt. Like and share our videos, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of tutorials and free projects. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly newsletter so you won't miss new tutorials. Happy sewing!